Howdy y'all, and welcome into Wylie Sports Guy. I'm your host Clayton. I'm so happy that y'all are here today on a very blessed May 29th, 2025. Hope your day is going well. Let's go on into today's recap. We'll start off today with the NCAA Softball Women's College World Series that just started today. Texas has already won their game against Florida 3-0. That came off of two solo shots from Mitchell, I think is her name. Sorry guys, I don't keep up with players as much as I do. Moving on to Oklahoma and Tennessee. That's going to kick off here in about 5 to 10 minutes over on ESPN. So yeah, about 2 o'clock, 1:50 to 2 o'clock, so go check that out. That is at my time of recording, so yeah. But moving on to tonight, 6 p.m. on ESPN2, Texas Tech plays in their first ever Women's College World Series game. They take on Ole Miss at 6 o'clock. Then Oregon at versus UCLA, 8:30 on ESPN2. By the way, all these games are taking place in Oklahoma City, so pretty cool, pretty cool. And yeah, by the way, those times can be subject to change. We'll also give you tomorrow the breakdown of who won today and what the eliminations games are going to look like going into tomorrow and then the rest of the week. So yeah. Moving on to the NCAA baseball regionals, those kick off tomorrow as the road to Omaha yet again begins. Shout out to my buddy Reese Bassinger and his West Virginia Mountaineers. They're taking on Kentucky at 11 a.m. on ESPNU. That is going to be in the Clemson regional. By the way, if you're wondering where the actual host of some of these regionals like Clemson are playing, go check that out on my YouTube channel. I broke down on Tuesday of what kind of the games are for the local team. So I broke down the full regional of the local team. So I don't have the timing for Clemson versus whoever they're playing. You can check that out on Tuesday, and I got the full thing set up for you. But if it's a team that is not in our area and they don't have a team in the regional that is not in our area, I highly recommend go check out the NCAA website or the college or ESPN.com. You can find all those times. But I'll give you the local teams. Like Houston Christian versus Texas, that's at 1 p.m. on ESPN Plus. That's in the Austin regional, so Texas is the host of that one. Speaking of hosting, Arkansas is hosting the Fayetteville regional. Their first game is against the North Dakota State Bison at 2 p.m. on ESPN Plus. We're going to call down to Baton Rouge at 2 p.m. on SEC Network. Shout out to my buddy Sammy Harris and his Arkansas Little Rock Trojans. They're taking on the host LSU Tigers. Then USC and TCU at 2 p.m. on ESPNU. That is in the Corvallis regional. So that's at Oregon State, if anyone was wondering. Nebraska versus Oklahoma at 4 p.m. on ESPN Plus. That is in the Chapel Hill regional. That is in North Carolina. Oklahoma State versus Duke at 5 p.m. on ESPN2 or ESPNU. It said 2 on mine, but I think it's U. I might have accidentally mistyped that, so my bad. But that'll be in the Athens regional. That'll be in Georgia. Moving on to Kansas State versus University of Texas San Antonio. That's 6 p.m. on ESPN Plus. That is also in the Austin regional. And then Rhode Island versus my DBU Patriots at 6:30 p.m. on ESPN Plus. That is also in the Baton Rouge regional. We'll make sure to break down those games on Saturday and Sunday, and we'll keep you breaking down for the Super Regionals and the Road to Omaha here in a couple weeks. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to see what goes down in Omaha and in Oklahoma City. That reminds me, speaking of Oklahoma City, last night in the NBA, we had Minnesota at Oklahoma City for Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals. Oklahoma City was leading at the half 65-32, and another stat was that Minnesota had more turnovers than field goals, 14 turnovers over 12 field goals. That is absolutely insane. And this is how the ending came down. The final was Oklahoma City 124, Minnesota 94. The Oklahoma City Thunder are officially back in the NBA Finals for the first time since 2012. The Thunder scoring breakdown went like this. SGA had 34 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds, and 2 steals. Chet Holmgren had 22 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 blocks with no assists. Jalen Williams had 19 points, 5 assists, 8 rebounds, a steal, and a block. Lou Dort had 12 points, 1 assist, 4 rebounds, and 3 steals. Isaiah Joe had 11. Hartenstein had 8 points with no assists, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Caruso had 8 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, and 4 steals. Casey Wallace with 5 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds, and a couple of blocks. Dang had 3 points and 2 assists. Mitchell had 2 points and a rebound. Jalen Williams, emphasize on the J, had no points but 2 assists, 1 rebound and steal. Jones had an assist and a rebound. Williams had 4 rebounds and a steal. Wiggins had an assist and 2 rebounds. Moving on to the Timberwolves, who are unfortunately now on their way to Cancun, or gone fishing, as NBA on TNT would say. Julius Randle, 24 points, 3 assists, 5 rebounds, and a steal. Anthony Edwards, 19 points, 2 assists, 6 rebounds, and a block. Reed had 11 points with no assists, 5 rebounds, and a steal. Terrence Shannon Jr., 11 points, 1 rebound, and a steal. Dillingham had 7 points, 2 assists, and a steal. DiVincenzo had 6 points, 2 assists, 6 rebounds, and a steal. Jaden McDaniels only had 5 with an assist and 5 rebounds. Luka Garza had 4 points with 2 rebounds, but not had 3 points with an assist. Rudy Gobert only had 2 points, 1 assist and 5 rebounds. Clark had 2 points with a rebound and a steal. Conley only had an assist, 2 steals, and a block. And Nickeil Alexander-Walker only had 3 assists and 2 rebounds. Like I said, the Thunder win the series 4-1. Tonight is going to be Game 5 between the Pacers and the Knicks. The Pacers can officially advance to the NBA Finals tonight at MSG. You can watch that game tonight, like I said, at 7 p.m. on TNT, True TV, and Max. And this could be the final Inside the NBA telecast on TNT. We'll have to find that out, so make sure to record that Inside the NBA telecast. And good luck if that is the final one on TNT tonight. To Shaq, Ernie, Chuck, and Kenny, good luck on that tonight, boys. Moving on now to teams that also clinched last night, and that was the Florida Panthers. The Panthers ended up winning last night 5-2 over the Carolina Hurricanes, but Carolina did start the scoring off, 5-3. Carolina did start off the scoring last night with the Sebastian Aho unassisted goal. Then Sebastian Aho would get his second goal of the night with an assist from Seth Jarvis. Florida then went strike back with a Matthew Tkachuk power play goal with an assist from Ekblad and Jones. Rodriguez would score with assists from Sam Bennett and Matthew Tkachuk. Lundell would get an assist from Brad Marchand. That would be the third Florida goal. That would be 3-2 at the end of the second period. Carolina would then tie it on a Seth Jarvis goal with an assist from Svechnikov. Oh, I butchered that name so bad. And Gauthier. I totally butchered both of those names. I'll just call them Spev and Goss. Then Florida would end the night with 2 more goals as Verhaeghe got a goal with assist from Alexander Barkov and Sam Reinhart. Then Sam Bennett would get his goal with assist from Alexander Barkov and Sam Reinhart. So Florida wins the series 4-1. The defending champs are back to the Stanley Cup. Tonight, Dallas is in a must-win game. If Edmonton wins tonight, it's a rematch of last year's Stanley Cup Finals. But tonight, I want to hear the locker room saying, "We're not going home!" I had to give you a little classic Anton Khudobin from, I think it was like 2021 or 2022 Stanley Cup playoffs. So hopefully Dallas will win tonight and we can get this thing to a Game 6. If not, it's going to be Edmonton versus Florida. But good luck to the Stars tonight, and hopefully we can get the Game 5 victory tonight. So, Dallas Stars! Let's now check in with the Texas Rangers. This last night, it was another pitching matchup like we had on Tuesday night. Tuesday night. Good grief, I'm recapping Wednesday night stuff. I know, I got a lot of bloopers in these films, but oh well. So as I was saying, the scoring didn't start until the top of the ninth last night as Bo Bichette would hit a 2-run homer that would score Ernie Clement. And that was all the scoring that we had. Toronto would win 2-0. They win the series over Texas. here was the pitching breakdown for the Rangers. Tyler Mahle, another fantastic start. 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts. Luke Jackson was 0.2 innings pitched, 1 hit and a strikeout. Milner, 0.1 inning pitched and a strikeout. Robert Garcia came out of the bullpen with 1 inning pitched, 1 hit and 2 strikeouts. And then Jacob Webb was the one who gave us the 2-run homer. 1 inning pitched, 2 hits and 2 earned runs. Also, Corey Seager officially got reactivated off the IL yesterday. He was in the game at DH. Fortunately, I do not have any stats on how that broke down, so hopefully Corey can bounce back on Friday against the Cardinals. The win went to little for the Jays. Jacob Webb ended up getting lost, and then Jeff Hoffman got the save for the Jays. Next game, like I said, Friday at 7:05 on CW33 here in Dallas-Fort Worth, but also on Victory Plus and Rangers Sports Network. Also in business side, MLB purchased an equity stake in the Athletes Unlimited Softball League to plan for their future. That is a professional softball league that has been started up by Athletes Unlimited. So if you remember some of like the top players like Jocelyn Allo or anybody else you could think of from last past NCAA women's softball, they're usually in that series, and they also teamed up with Little League, so it's pretty Little League softball, so it's pretty cool. So congratulations to them for getting a nice little equity stake, and I wish them good luck as they begin their first season in the Athletes Unlimited Softball League. By the way, if you want me to cover that, hey, put that down in the comments below. I'd love to keep you all updated on it. It'd be pretty cool. Let's now check in on the rest of DFW. Yesterday, I want to give a shout out to the Oklahoma State men's golf team as they won their 12th ever NCAA team golf title, so shout out to them. Unfortunately, in sad news though, Baylor defensive line 18-year-old Alex Foster yesterday died in a shooting in Mississippi yesterday, so all my prayers out to Baylor University, the Baylor football team, and friends and family of Alex Foster. Just praying for peace at that time. Also wanted to shout out a couple weeks ago, or last week, the DBU women's golf team that ended up winning the Division II championship. Shout out to one of the players, Ella Cheek, who I know very personally very well, as well. She was a DBU player, and then she also goes to my church. So shout out Ella and the rest of that D2 team over there at the DBU women's golf. Shout out to them on that. Paige Beckers and the Dallas Wings are yet again in action tonight against Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky. That is tonight on 7 p.m. on Prime Video. And then FC Dallas and FC Cincinnati ended in a draw last night on that game. So, yeah, they will now wait for their next game on Saturday. I'll break that down for you tomorrow. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was the Wylie Sports Guy long-form recap. Hope y'all enjoyed it. As I always say, keep Jesus first, God bless, don't mess with Texas. I'll see y'all again tomorrow, y'all. Oh, by the way, don't forget to like and subscribe and tell your family and friends about this channel. Like, we want them to know about it as well. So, yeah. Adios, y'all.